Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, and today is going to be a day of days. Today is going to be the day that we share some stuff that played out and happened in regards to the SOS2 4029 KVK with all of the intensity and drama surrounding FSK and LioN, Bangate, and all of the bans that were essentially issued out to a number of players where the accused, in this case being LioN, and the accusers slash ones that were seemingly reporting LioN players being FSK, ended up getting a number of people banned. Now, maybe it was more people than just FSK, right? Again, we have to obviously put things appropriately into context. However, we're going to show you a bunch of stuff, and we'll let you kind of decide and figure it out for yourselves on what side of the fence you land on. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up. Thanks. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty. So where we last left off was that Final Zone had opened in the KVK, Final Zone was about to open. They were fighting it out here at the level 6 pass. After that had just opened, and a number of players prior to that pass opening were banned from LioN. Kyle goes on a massive is it fair to say rant? He ended up going on a pretty sizable post that he ended up making, and we'll show you that, where this one was first posted on the 24th of May, right? So if we come on over here, it's already up, lovely. You could see this was the first time that he had made basically a massive post, right? And this one, May 24th, Saturday, this is where he came out and said, hey, I want to bring serious attention to the cheating and game abuse by the Vietnamese Alliance LioN on server 310, right? I'm calling on Lilith to take action, right? He states a couple things here and then goes into some of his reasonings, which is, okay, multiple accounts used in coordinated combat, synchronized movement and retreats, focused fire from multiple sources, auto retreat when locked, no delay latency between being locked and pulling back, right? It says, as you know, FSK fights hard. We may not be the most active alliance in terms of numbers, but we are skilled fighters. He goes on to say, right, he feels as though we should have better kill ratio trades. The ratio was 1.51 to 1 in their favor, despite most of our fighters being T5. We were outmatched in stamina and overwhelmed by mass multi-account abuse. Many of LioN's 40 to 50 mil T4 accounts were farming absurd merit points with focused fire tactics, something impossible for individual players to achieve legitimately. These types of actions fundamentally destroy the integrity of the game. I urge Lilith to take decisive action, and I ask the CoD community to stand united against this. Now, a lot of reactions, right, for this post. So what I'm going to share with you now is some screenshots that were provided to me from some of the LioN players, and then I'll go into what has been stated so far. Okay, and then we're going to show you, and then I'm going to read something to you a little bit later, or in a bit, that will hopefully clarify and possibly be a little bit of a mic drop bomb. So, first one up, right? This is going to be a little small because I don't think I got like a higher res of it, and if I try and like really massive increase it, that might help a bit. But it basically says, right from this place, is one of the LioN players, just says, sorry for keeping you waiting. Yes, we lifted the ban after double verifications, right? So them saying, okay, well, we checked again and you're good. You didn't cheat, right? Nothing we found there. And we've sent compensation to the players who were affected. I want to discuss, please go on. Right, Okay. Next screenshot. So this is a screenshot shared with me. I guess I can go back to like reset, right? Well, we can maybe increase this a bit. So this was that same message, I believe, shared with me from conversation with him and Zen, right, from 310, right, asking, okay, where's third-party app tool script? Screenshots to Demon, they say you were not a cheater. For what? I only received a message from Gloria, then they unbanned me, right? So again, someone else getting unbanned. Wait, okay. So again, seeing that some of the people there in the kingdom have been unbanned. And at this time, from what I know, and from what I've been told, is that all of the LioN players in 310 that were banned have been unbanned. And it was also confirmed by one of, I believe, the CC teams, one of the CC reps that we have in the Discord that we have for our team, stated that they went through and found that there were some false positives, that there were a number of players that were banned that did not cheat. Up until this point, I do not know of any players in 310 that are still banned, or their ban played out and they haven't got a confirmation that they did not cheat, or that they were cheating, right? So up until this point, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, the conclusion here is that no one in 310, no one in LioN was cheating. Again, even though I haven't, it's not as though, every individual player, right? This is me hearing from management there. So if something changes, then of course, we may touch and report on that. But as of now, nothing has been proven and or stated that anyone there did actually cheat. Now let me get to the bomb drop. So I'm going to read you. I can't show this only because I didn't ask if I could screenshot this. But some of the things I have asked about, and their team said it was okay. But I'm only going to read this for context because it is important for what we're talking about. So what I'm going to read to you is a conversation, just a few posts between a CC rep and a CC, right? And it starts off, by saying that so the CC says, okay, the main issue is that this guy, Kyle, who spent around $1 million on the game, feels like he can mass false report people with impunity. The sad thing is, it seems like he's correct. Now, keep in mind, let's put things into perspective. It is not just Kyle who has done this or who has supposedly done this. There's a number of other people that have made reports. Regardless if false or true, we could at least say, if you want to give a little bit of asterisk and leeway here, that the people who made the reports may have felt, and that's not to say everyone did, but some of the people I'm sure felt that, okay, well, something's a little suspicious here. I'm sure there's other people that did make blatantly false reports. I have no question about that. But I don't think it's fair to say that everyone did it one way or everyone did it another way. So, goes on, and now the CC rep replies and says this: please rest assured that devs won't ban players just because of one's request. Just like yesterday, there was an announcement. Now, this was like end of May. There was an announcement or post that stated something such as 14BR is going to be banned. I believe they might have been quoting Kyle on this, but I'd have to go and look. I'm pretty sure he said that in World Chat because I think some people had shared with me some screenshots, but apologies for not having that up there, right? So I'm not going to hard commit to that. And then devs did receive the reports, meaning that somebody did report them, right? Most likely, based on the language here from FSK, maybe it was Kyle, maybe it wasn't. And it says the devs did receive the report, but chose not to do anything since according to their data, they didn't cheat. Interesting. Okay. So then the CC's next comment is, but he's still submitting false reports in an attempt to get players banned with no repercussions. I mean, seemingly, again, if you look at everything that Kyle has posted from other one or two other videos that we talked about this, and even when LioN players were being unbanned in 310, he had made a comment saying to the effect of, and I'm probably paraphrasing here, right, you're going to get banned again, was kind of the end result, the end point. So then the CC rep says, okay, I'm sorry, but we actually can't prevent players from using their in-game rights, but please believe that the judgment won't be affected by his words. I'm imagining his referring to Kyle, right? The top priority is to identify some other possible reasons that may have led to the ban. So again, I wanted to state that for context because I think, number one, this is so important that the COD team, the CC team stated this to us as CCs. And again, I don't believe there would be any problem with me sharing, because this isn't like top secret information, right? But the fact is they're addressing something that was a worry for a number of us that were having conversations with their team about this. And I think this is great. This is something, and I really appreciate them saying this, where they're coming out and making and at least making it seem that, just because one person submits something, regardless of who it is or how much influence or not they may have, that doesn't ultimately mean that these people are going to get banned. Right? Now, obviously, that doesn't necessarily address mass reporting, because, again, that could still very much be a thing, as it's been proven that it still is, at least up until this point, and until we see and or hear otherwise. But to summarize everything right now, LioN players from 310 were, at this point, falsely banned, supposedly by Kyle and any other members of FSK. Kyle was so over the moon with feeling so confident and so sure of himself, and anyone else that might have felt that from FSK and or from any of the other allied members, that LioN in 310 was cheating. And then news comes out that, hey, guess what? Nothing has been found that they were actually cheating. Again, based on what we know at this moment and what has been shared with us and what we've been able to show. Now, maybe something could come out at a later time, and if it does, then we'll cover it. But at this moment, you went on a big rant to say that they're cheating, and the team investigated, and there's no cheating. What are you doing? I just don't get it. It baffles me. It does. This is, let me say this, if everything ends up being true and nothing comes to light after this, 310, no one there cheated at all, and, FSK reporting, even if they continue, right, nothing happens. It's just, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the NTS situation, and we've touched on this a couple times. But NTS was false reported. Some of their players got banned. But to be fair, and I don't know if I want to, I don't mean this in a bad way. If anything, this is more complimentary. But this is to say, like, if you're comparing LioN versus NTS, and Kyle thinks that LioN is doing all these things at like the highest possible level, skill level, again, I don't know if FSK's ever gone up against NTS, but I can only imagine the shiitake mushroom storm that he would throw if he did go up against NTS, like how they are now and have been for a while. And like, it just, how many reports would he be issuing out to them? You know what I mean? It's just, and that's not a slight against LioN and 310. That's just to say that most people know, like, anytime, even if you're on the COD Discord, and people bring up NTS and their diligence and their structure and their coordination, and their movement, their focus firing, usually you're going to see some robot gifs, right? You just will. But everyone knows that they didn't cheat. Right now, I interviewed Mark, and he told us the whole story about how some members from the dev team came in to their Discord. They verified with a number of people. Like, they basically did like their own kind of, external investigation with them, with NTS, was with members of NTS. And so, yeah, to me, just the whole thing is crazy, right? And again, as I stated earlier, I'm not saying that their truth, Kyle's truth, anyone else's truth when they're playing is not, oh, hey, yeah, this looks suspicious. I'm sure maybe he felt that way. But it's, the way I kind of view it is like, handle that stuff privately, right? We don't need to make some public stink about it, because now it just looks that much worse when you guys went off and you reported all these people and none of them have came back with a confirmation. I mean, it's just like, man, like street cred is going down right now, man. And it's just like objectively, that's fair to say. And it's, you know, what's funny, you know, this last thing I'm going to say, what's funny to me is, and I feel like it's mostly people maybe, or maybe it's some people from FSK, because I think that's the only time I ever really hear about it, or I see someone posting about something. And I've been very consistent in saying this. Have nothing against FSK, nothing against 36, nothing against Kyle. Right? You've never heard me say a bad thing about, like, just for no reason, or a bad thing with like truly ill intent about Kyle, about anyone there in the kingdom, in the alliance. But there's a big difference between providing a level of criticism and constructive criticism and reviewing actions that we know at this point are true and or lead to the truth, and then sharing our thoughts and our opinions on those. And yeah, I just don't think that I just don't think him doing all that is going to be a good look. And I say that because a similar thing happened with TA when they were when they had reported GG, and GG felt like they were being false reported. I'm sure LioN and 310 felt like they were being false reported. And now it's like, okay, well, you know, you start reporting them before the level 6 pass opens. It now makes it look like, from an outsider looking in, when you have all the facts and the details, and we know that for a period of time after the level 6 pass open, because I was live streaming this, that there was 40 or so people banned, if not a few more, and a decent number of T5s. It was a little bit less than half, or about half of that number, and they weren't able to fight. So some people could make the argument that this was a well-timed mass reporting effort from FSK, from any of the FSK members that were involved and or anyone else, against 310 and LioN, in order to help them win the KVK. I'm not saying that's the truth or not. I am saying that that is a narrative that has been talked about. And it, regardless on how you feel about it, whatever side you land on, like, that sucks to have that be the thing. I don't think FSK, especially for members that are not involved and or people that are there in 36, don't want that kind of attention, negative attention, and or feelings, especially after everything that we've just touched on with, you know, the fact is like, those things just didn't happen. So that's where I leave you with it. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And again, how do you feel about it? Is it not that big of a deal? Listen, people get false reported all the time, regardless of the person who's reporting them, if they feel that, hey, it's truthful or they're doing it maliciously. Or do you feel that no, or yeah, totally in the wrong to do that, to go out there and to brand 310 and LioN as these cheaters, and it comes to light that they weren't cheating at all at this time. I'm curious where you guys land. And for those of you that maybe know a little bit more about the situation than I do, I'd love to hear it. Let us know in the comments below. That's it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.